Hey everyone, this is Mikedot here for OnRPG.com, and welcome to another episode of OnRPG's Kicktracker Report, a monthly web series focused on Kickstarter gaming projects that you should know about. For everyone that's new to this show, each month I go over a handful of new and ongoing Kickstarter gaming projects, take a quick look back at campaigns from previous episodes, and I give my thoughts on what makes some of these Kickstarter projects so special. Starting off for the month of February 2016, ChemCaper by Ace Adventure Studio Production was successfully funded with over $55,000 pledged from over 1,000 backers. With the campaign finished, the development team is now focused on a full production of the game on several platforms including PC, Mac, and mobile devices. Currently, no other details on the game's development has been given, but the team is now open to any comments and suggestions as they move forward. Heroes Song by Pixel Mage Games unfortunately failed to meet its $600,000 goal, with only $100,000 pledged from over 3,000 backers. John Smidley and his team goes on to state that the campaign's failure was due to a lack of planning, a lack of physical goods as campaign rewards, and a lack of solid gameplay shown off during their campaign video. However, the team at Pixel Mage Studios managed to gain some support from several investors, ensuring that the game's development will proceed as planned, and luckily enough, they will still have complete creative control over the game, so there should be no worries about changing the game's theme or having content removed for the sake of profit by the investors' discretion. For this month, we're featuring a handful of ongoing campaigns that are really cutting it close to their deadlines, but here at OnRPG, we really feel strongly about these campaigns and would really like to see some extra support for them. So to start things off, first we have Consortium the Tower, a first-person shooter / open-world RPG by Interdimensional Games. Set in a futuristic London, where you play as a Consortium officer named Bishop 6, whose primary goal is to investigate the Churchill Tower on a mission of peace. As a sequel to the original Consortium game, which also got its start on Kickstarter, players will be able to fight, sneak, explore, and even talk their way out of most situations. With vast improvements over its predecessor, including combat and presentation, Consortium the Tower is being developed as the game that the original was always meant to be. Now, I like to say that this game does remind me of Deus Ex a lot, and I know that the devs have referenced Deus Ex a lot in their campaign, but with no cutscenes to take away from the experience, this game sets itself apart from Deus Ex in a very unique narrative-focused way. Now, I'm really interested in how open the narrative will be, as there is one scene in the campaign trailer where the player is attacking several enemies while breaking protocol, and then afterwards the narrative declares that the player has gone rogue. So that's just one of many different directions that the player can take the story, and I also wonder how many possible endings can be achieved. I also really like how the game looks. It has a very distinct visual style that's not too realistic, at the same time not too cartoony, just like the original game. And overall, the presentation seems very solid despite being in pre-production. But with that said, at the time of this recording, this game only has a few days left to reach its $450,000 Canadian dollar goal. This campaign ends on February 19th, 2016. Next up is Invisigun Heroes, a top-down multiplayer shooter by Somber Studio. Now, at first glance, it may seem like just another 16-bit style retro game, but the gimmick here is that it's a game where everyone gets to run around while they're invisible. Now, because everyone is invisible in this game, the gameplay is focused on environmental set pieces where the player has to listen for things like footsteps or watch the screen for changes like shaky trees or sliding doors in order to determine where your opponents are and blast them out of hiding. Players will be able to use traps, character-unique abilities, and power-ups during the match, as well as engage in different match types including Carrier and King of the Hill. And with complete online support, you can challenge players from all over the world. Now, while I really do like the idea behind Invisigun Heroes, but at the same time, I can also see why a game like this would be so hard to sell on its concept, because it's a multiplayer game that's focused heavily on sight and sound. So basically, when you're playing the game locally with a bunch of friends next to you, things may be a little bit more challenging than it should be. Like, for instance, if your friends are anything like my friends when it comes to party games, there's going to be a lot of laughing, a lot of yelling, and a lot of trash talking, so we might not be able to see and hear every little thing that's going on in the game. But still, that's just more of a personal nitpick than anything, as this only applies to just playing the game locally. From what I can see, the game gives enough visual feedback to give players an idea of how to approach a match. And of course, when you're playing by yourself in the comfort of your own home, or if you're playing the game with some nice headphones, I think it'll make the game a whole lot easier. Now, at the time of this recording, the game has about 75% of its funding reached, and it needs another few $1,000s to reach its $32,000 goal. This campaign ends on February 20th, 2016. Last up, we have an adventure title called Wandersong, which is created by Dumb and Fat Games. Now, this game is all about saving the world through the power of music. You play as a traveling bard who uses his singing voice to solve puzzles, overcome obstacles, and connect with characters in the game world. With inspirations drawn from games like Earthbound, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and animated Miyazaki films, Wandersong presents itself as a very whimsical and heartwarming tale. Now, I really like how the singing mechanic is used throughout the demonstration, as a color wheel determines the pitch and tone of your singing, which is also used in a variety of creative puzzles, as well as being used in a rhythm game style, which reminds me a lot of Samba de Amigo. I also like to say that the music they have planned for the game has me very interested because it's being handled by Hyperduck Soundworks, who's very well known for their video game remixes, as well as the original soundtrack for Dust and Elysian Tale. And the music they plan to use a lot in this game seems to be Irish folk music, which is very peppy and upbeat. And along with the whole simplistic paper cutout visual style and with the game's music, it just really puts you in a very feel-good mood. At the time of this recording, this campaign is a few $1,000s short of its $18,000 goal, and with only a few days left, a huge thunderclap of support could really help this campaign reach its finish line. This campaign ends on February 20th, 2016. And that's all the time I have for this news recap. If you'd like to learn more about the games featured in this video, just check out the links in the description below. But as always, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for next month's recap. This is Mikedot saying over and out.